Hello students, today we are going to start with a new topic, that is introduction to shear stresses. In previous 4 to 5 lectures in unit number 3 we have seen the bending stresses. When beam is loaded, how bending stresses are developed. Bending stresses are developed due to bending moment. Now we are going to study about the shearing stresses or shear stresses. Shear stresses are developed due to shear force. Now starting with introduction to shear stress. When the beam is loaded, it deforms or bends, which causes the bending moment and shear forces in the beam, and the stresses induced due to shear force is called as shear stresses. It is equal to, what is shear force? Shear force is equal to the sum of vertical loads on any one side of the section, and this act tangential to the cross section. Now here you can see I have shown shear force, that is a reaction Re. Now this reaction is tangential to this particular surface. Tangential means what? It is parallel to the cross section. If you want to show how shear force is acting over the cross section, so here you can see this is the shear stresses. I have shown complementary shear stresses, so that you will understand in next few minutes what is complementary shear stress. Next, introduction to shear stress. So what is shear stress? It is the internal resistance of the beam against maximum shear force. Means it will resist the shear force developed in the beam. That's why in the beam, to resist the shear stresses, we are using the rings. As you know that by making the rings, we are inserting the reinforcement. So in the reinforcement, that long steel bars are taking tension and that rings are taking shear force, because it is shear force is always act tangential to the surface in vertical direction. It is equal to the algebraic sum of vertical load on any one side of the section, and this is normally act tangential to the cross sections. So shear stress is parallel to the shear force. Now there are few assumptions in the shear stress theory, just like bending theory. So what are that assumptions? In that, few assumptions are common. First one is the material of the beam is perfectly homogeneous, isotropic, and obeys Hooke's law. Shear stress on the cross section is parallel to the shearing stress. Transverse cross section before and after loading remains plane. Means before loading it is plane and after loading it is plane. Shear stress is constant along the width and varies along the depth. If areas of the two faces are equal, then shear stresses on the two faces must be equal. Shear stresses are complementary. So these are the few assumptions. Now to calculate the shear stress at any portion of the beam or at any area at any location, we are having the formula shear stress is equal to, shear stress is normally denoted by letter tau. So here you can see this is letter tau. So it is calculated using formula VAY bar upon BI, or in some books this formula is like this, SAY bar upon BI. In some books it is FAY bar upon BI. Means to represent the shear force at a point, here V, S or F letter is used, where A is the area above or below the point, Y bar is the distance between CG of the cross section, I is the moment of inertia of the cross section, B is the width of cross section. Now, what is concept of shear stress? What is concept of shear stress? Shear stress concept means what? There are few observations over the rectangular or square element. Shear stresses on opposite means what? And parallel. Opposite and parallel faces of an element are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction. Opposite means what? This face and opposite face. They are same in magnitude but opposite in direction. Shear stresses on adjacent means what? Perpendicular direction. This face also or this and this face. Adjacent faces of an element are equal in magnitude. Means shear stresses over the entire cross section they are equal in magnitude. Now here you can see, you will find the difference between these two beams. So in figure 1 I have shown a beam of, this is the beam of single or homogeneous cross section. So this is also called as the steeper beam. This is called as steep beam, means there is no layers in the beam. But if you see second figure, here I have formed the beam but made up of two different layers. Okay. Now suppose that two beams are glued. Glued means what? They are sticked together. Okay. So here in between these two layers there must be some glued, or you should use some solution to stick them. Okay. If two beams are glued along the contact surfaces so that they become a single unit, when the beam is loaded, horizontal shear stresses must develop along the glued surface in order to prevent the sliding. Okay. Suppose these are the two layers and if it loaded, what happen? They will bend. If you are not using any solution or glue in between two contact surfaces, what will happen? Both the portions of the beam will behave separately. Okay. So that's why we are using some glue material in between to avoid the sliding because of the presence of these shear stresses. So what is the function of glue there? So it will develop the shear stress between the layers, means it will avoid the movement. Movement avoided means it develops the shear stress. But if you observe overall these both the beams, it will come to know that the single solid beam is much steeper than this, much steeper and stronger than these two separate beams, because even though you are using glue in between the two surfaces, definitely there will be shearing stresses. Now concept of complementary shear stress. Complementary means what? Complementary means equal in magnitude, opposite in direction. That is called as a complementary shear stress. So there is one important property of shear stress. Shear stress is that shear stresses are always complementary. Shear stresses are always complementary. Complementary means what? They are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction. When this shear stress and this shear stress will have same in magnitude but opposite in direction. Similarly, this and this will have same in magnitude, opposite in direction. Now here you can see, let us consider rectangular block ABCD. So this is a rectangular block. Assume that a set of shearing stresses in opposite direction as shown in figure and is applied over the surface of a rectangular block AB and CD. Okay, in AB it is in this direction, in CD in this direction. Now if we consider the effect of this set of shearing stresses of opposite direction, we can easily say that there will be zero net force acting over the rectangular block. Okay, how zero net shear force? If we take fx0, what will happen? Rightward positive means plus tau, leftward is negative minus tau, means plus tau minus tau will be 0. Similarly, if you take fy0 plus tau, this downward minus tau will be equal to 0. It shows that there will be zero net force acting over the rectangular element. But couple acting, but moment is not a zero, because these forces will cause moment about any point A. Suppose I want to take moment of this tau about this portion, it will be tau into A, means it will develop anti-clockwise couple. Similarly, these forces, this and these forces will develop clockwise couple. Means this particular block is maintained in equilibrium by forming a couple of certain intensity over the block in clockwise and anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so it is balanced, and that's why here we can say that shear stresses are complementary. Means net force acting on the system is zero, but the couples are balanced by clockwise and anti-clockwise direction. Therefore, there will be one more set of shear stress of same intensity acting over the rest of two opposite surfaces of the block, that is side ED and BC, and this set of shearing stresses will be terminated as a complementary shear stresses. Okay, so this is about the complementary shear stresses. So here we can conclude that according to the principle of complementary shear stresses, a set of shear stresses acting across the plane will always be accompanied by a set of balancing shear stresses of similar intensity across the plane and acting normal to it. Okay, in short, I will tell you that shear stresses are complementary, means these values are equal and opposite, same magnitude opposite in direction. Similarly, this tau and this tau same magnitude opposite in direction, and these shear stresses will cause an anti-clockwise couple at this particular point. This will be balanced by this clockwise couple. Similarly, it will be, this force will develop clockwise couple, it will be balanced by anti-clockwise couple. Okay, means if you observe this entire figure, you will come to know that shear stresses are complementary. Means here forces are also balanced by other forces and moments are also balanced by other couples or other moments. Now, just like bending stress equation, here also there is a derivation for shear stress equation or shear stress formula. In bending stress equation, we have derived the equation m upon I equal to sigma by y is equal to E by R. Okay. Similarly, here there is one equation tau is equal to SAY bar upon BI. That equation you have to prove with the derivation. Okay. So here I have shown the derivation of that particular equation. So initially, consider a simply supported beam. This is the beam. Here it must be simply supported, loaded with UDL. If any beam is loaded, it will bend. Consider a small portion ABCD of the length dx from beam cross section. So here what I did here, AB and CD. So this small cross section I have considered for derivation, whose length is dx. This length is dx. So this cross section is taken AB and CD, whose length is dx. As you know that when beam is loaded, there will be shear force and bending moment. They are changing from point to point along the length of the beam when it is loaded. Let us assume that M is the bending moment acting at AB. So at this face, I have assumed this bending moment as a M, and there is a distance of dx in between EB and CD. So whenever we are taking moment about CD, that moment will be by the addition of dm, means there will be small addition of moment in the over the length dx, because bending moment and shear force changes at every point, it will never be same. So over the distance dx, it will change by magnitude of dm, means bending moment at AB is m and bending moment at CD is m plus dm. Similarly, shear force at EB at this phase shear force, I will assume that force F is acting here, and over the length dx it will be F plus dF. So this is the shear force acting. And here I have shown a cross section above the neutral axis. So rectangular cross section whose width is B, whose area at a distance y will be A. Okay. Now let us assume the elementary strip at a distance y from NA. Okay. Elementary strip means what? This strip. Assume this elementary strip at a distance y from neutral axis whose area will be dA. Okay. Whose area will be dA. Let sigma be the bending stress at a distance y from NA. A is the cross section of the strip. Now using the flexural formula is m upon I equal to sigma by y. Stress on face EB. Okay, m upon I equal to sigma by y. So to calculate stress, we will write equation m upon I into y. So this will be the stress on face EB. This face is EB. On this particular face, what will be the stress? Sigma m upon I into y. And similarly, on the face CD, here it will be increased by an amount of dx with the length dx, addition of dx. So it will be stress on face AB is sigma. So on CD it will be sigma plus d sigma. It will be the addition over the length dx. Similarly, moment will be also added because stress, moment, shear force, they are changes point to point, means that by the addition of dx, that moment will also change from m to m plus dm divided by I into y. We know that what is the force? Force is equal to stress into area. Force is equal to stress into area. Here it is not a force, here it is stress. Force is equal to stress into area because stress is equal to F upon A. So force on face AB. Force on face AB is stress into area. So here FEB will be equal to stress into area. Instead of stress, I will put this term M upon I into Y. So this is stress into A as it is. Okay, here stress into area. So here small a is taken for area above the elementary strip. That's why here I have taken small a. Now similarly, force on face CD, it will be m plus dm upon I. So stress on face CD is sigma plus d sigma. Okay, so the stress will be sigma plus d sigma into A. So what is sigma plus d sigma? This particular amount, that is the stress into area that is acting over face CD. Okay, therefore now you have to calculate the net force acting on the strip. Net force will be df, that will be F force on face CD minus force on face AB. M plus dm by I into y into A minus m upon m by A into y into A. If you multiply this ya term with m and dA, so this first term m upon I into y dA will cancel with this term. Remaining terms are dm upon I into y into A. So this term will remain from this equation by the deduction. Now this is the net force acting. Now to find the total force acting above the neutral axis, it is nothing but above the neutral axis means here you have to consider area above the neutral axis, means from 0 to d by 2 because total depth is d. So distance from neutral axis it will be 0 to d by 2. If you integrate it over 0 to d by 2, you will get the total force acting over the system. Okay, so this will be the F acting over the strip. This F will be acting over the strip, and you know that shear stress tau is equal to total force divided by cross sectional area. Tau is equal to F upon E. Okay, so here I have taken tau equal to F upon E. So F is nothing but this particular magnitude. This is for F upon A. This is F, and upon E means what? Area of that cross section is width is dx and this one is B. Okay, B into dx. And then if you take dm by dx common from this, it will be ay bar upon bi, and as you know that dm by dx is nothing but shear force. This we have learned in SFD and BMD chapter. dm by dx is equal to shear force. So in this way we can write this equation as a tau is equal to f a y bar upon bi or ib. F or v or s, different notations are used for the shear force. Now we have proved this equation, tau is equal to sa y bar upon bi or fa y bar upon bi. This is the shear stress equation. It will be required to solve the numericals of this particular chapter. Now in this equation, what is F? F is the shear force at that particular section. A is the area above or below the neutral layer under consideration. Y bar is the center of that particular area under consideration from neutral axis. W is the width of that particular cross section, and I is the moment of inertia of entire cross section. Now this equation is written in this fashion: tau is equal to VAY bar upon BI. Only this V is changed to S and F. Rest of the things are same. Okay. So in this way, we have to use this shear stress equation to solve the different numericals. So in detail, we will discuss in next lecture about the numericals and various shear stress distribution diagrams. Okay, thank you.